to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 5, episode number 15. Tonight's the sports edition. Andy, how are you?
It's spring training.
I was going to say, it's probably good because pitchers and catchers report.
Some are there now. Yeah, it's official.
So today is February 12th, 2024. The football season has come to a conclusion. We're ready to go headfirst into baseball. The Super Bowl was yesterday. Baseball kicks off, spring training. It's going to get fun.
It's a beautiful time of year.
You love it. The off-season hot stove is a tough time for you. You almost go into a kind of a SAD, S-A-D, kind of a seasonal affect disorder. And then baseball comes back and you're ready to roll.
You get that shot of energy back in life and you're good to go.
So we're going to have a trivia question to start off the show, and then we'll hand it over to Andy with some sports updates here for the listening audience. The trivia question is this. Super Bowl was last night, of course. Everyone knows that. But how many times in Super Bowl history has a game for the Super Bowl been played indoors, in a dome, but with natural grass? So not artificial turf, but with real turf. In other words, real grass, real blades of grass. It looked odd once again, seeing the guys get tackled in the game yesterday and then coming up with grass stains. And I thought it was artificial turf. I didn't know that was real grass in Vegas Allegiant Stadium, but it was.
All right.
So the question is, how many times is a Super Bowl? We know it's one.
At least one. Okay.
At least one. How many times has the Super Bowl been played indoors and with natural grass? We'll get to the trivia question answer at the end of the episode, along with some other fun facts about that.
Yes. There it is. Ham's Beer Fest next Sunday at Medina.
Yes.
Check our social media. Check Medina Entertainment Center's social media. All the cool kids will be there. Spring training goes says here. There's Mr. Met. He's down there getting all tanned up.
A great tan.
Yep. He's going to watch those tan lines, though, so he's got gloves on as long as he's being safe. Skin cancer for a guy his age is a real thing.
Watch the seam lines, not the tan lines, but the seam lines.
Yes. And Mrs. Met, I'm sure, is at the beach. She'll getting tan, too. All right, we start with yesterday's big game. Iowa Hawkeyes, Nebraska Cornhuskers women's basketball.
Awesome.
Caitlin needed 39 points. See, they lost by 3. Can't tell you what happened here. Caitlin had 31 after 3 quarters. Coach told her don't shoot because she was saying all along, the fans in Iowa deserve to see her break the record there. Coach, you're wrong. Your fans deserve you to get a national championship. There, I said it.
Yes.
Jazz Shelley for the Cornhuskers. She's a great player. She went off. She was going off all game. Caitlin just passed. Oh, yes. Caitlin hit 1,000 career assists.
Unbelievable.
Great. We want the points. You could have done both in one game, but they told you don't shoot. She had, we'll get that later. Oh, boy. There's Jazz Shelley. First win versus Iowa since December of 2019 for the Cornhuskers.
Okay. Wow.
That's a 9-game losing streak there. Has never played an entire fourth quarter without scoring a point before their game yesterday against Nebraska.
Okay.
8 points won the fourth. They said don't shoot. The fans at home deserve to see it. And so she had a 0-point score in the fourth quarter. Iowa did drop to 4, so they'll still get a 1 seed at this rate. But you know what? You want that national championship. This might hurt them later on. Tickets for her game. 2 seats together going for $10,000 each. I'll say that again.
Wow.
$1,000 each for a women's basketball game. And you look at the crowd, it's all these young girls. That's always what they've pumped with Iowa. The young girls, they come out. And they do. They come out in droves. I don't even know what a drove is, but I'm sure they come out in it.
Yes.
I think it's a good thing. I'm pretty sure I didn't just swear, but
nice.
It's a good thing. So via StubHub, if you had $10,406, you can go sit and watch Caitlin play that game and get her points. So yeah. And it's not just Caitlin on the team. They had a game the other day. Only one D1 men's or women's team has had at any point in the last 25 years, same game or not, player get 45 points on 85% shooting in the game. 45 plus points, I'm sorry. 85% shooting a game. A player with 25 plus points and 15 plus assists in a game, and a player with 15 plus points and 15 plus rebounds in a game. Iowa did that all in one game last week.
Wow.
Kate Martin had the 15 points, 15 boards. Caitlin, 25-15. And the new gal underneath the center, 45. She had that 47-point game, and she had 85% shooting in the game. So they did that all in one game. So it's not just Caitlin carrying this team. They have a great team, and I've been saying that all along, people. Hear
A
me
lot
now.
of talent.
Got some more sports notes for you. NASCAR wives are better than NFL wives. Just gonna say.
Nice.
But the picture says it all right there. Kyle
Just
Larson's
leave
wife,
that right there.
and I don't know who that other one is. She's not very attractive though, but there you go. Football stadiums hold 82,500 people. There's a couple NASCAR races, 400,001 for the Indy 500 or 167,000, but no one watches cars go in circles, I guess.
Unless, hey, you know what? Here's a good question, Andy, and maybe it's already been done, but when the season ends, the home teams for baseball, football, basketball, hockey all have, the attendance records for that season, the attendance stats. And so NASCAR does it. NASCAR does, they move around different locations, but at the end of the season, their total attendance, how does that rank up there with the other top four sports?
I couldn't tell you. Like I said, well, if you look at some of the stadiums right there, the Indy 500 holds 400,000.
Yeah,
some
there's
places hold 160,000 in one stadium, and they have
amazing
dozens of races a year. So
now, for comparison, that Super Bowl last night had 61,000, I think.
Yep, that's cute.
Yeah, no, 82 is an average NFL, but 61.
Watch Daytona next Sunday, see how many people are there. And here's the other thing. I heard today. All right, fired me up. Here we go. Was it 14 million people? Or no, 16 million people called in sick today. That's 14% of the workforce.
Yes.
Why? Oh, move football to a Saturday. What? It's a game. Okay, the Daytona 500. NASCAR people. We showed the picture earlier of the wives. Let's play the stereotype of NASCAR fans. They're at the Daytona 500 Sunday. We're all going to work Monday morning just fine. 14% of the workforce called in sick. 28% said they'd be there, but they wouldn't be at 100%. Really, people? For a football game? World Series is played every night. There's 3 weeknight games right there during the week. We all make it to work the next day. Stanley Cup, hockey fans. Really? You think they just drink milk all night? I don't think so. Hockey fans stay for Stanley Cup. They make it to work the next day.
Yeah, there's even
Super Bowl parties. Don't get me wrong. I've thrown my diet out the window at Super Bowl parties. I've consumed mass quantities, as they say on Saturday Night Live at Super Bowl parties, and I won the next day.
Now what was I just going to say? Someone had talked about it in the past to pass a law to make that Super Bowl Monday a national holiday to take off. That's a joke, right? Or was that actually introduced?
There is people that really want to do that, and I just say, suck it up. I mean, I remember back in my youth, that high school, early college even, which is farther along than I thought, that I want to admit. The game was like a noon game or a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday. But why do they need it so late in the day? Have it at noon. Why does that have to be late in the day? Have it at noon so it's nice weather outside, not under the lights.
Yeah. It's interesting. And what people do is they've turned it into an all-day tailgate party, and then they can't function the next day to get up and go to their own job. So
if you make the game at noon, then you're done by 4 o'clock at the latest. Do you keep drinking then? That's on you. Don't blame the game.
It's a big cha-ching, I think is the answer.
Yep. Major League Baseball owners heard a presentation last Wednesday on how MLB players could play in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. It would include 6 to 8 nations, 4 to 5 day tournament in mid-July, and the All-Star game would either be held or canceled that year. I don't know how I feel on this. You take a week or so off, week plus off, for the pros to play. I guess here's some more things I'd want to know on that. I guess I got no problem if they play. You take a week off, no All-Star game, which you take 4 days off for now anyway. So what's 2 more days, I guess. I'll get over it. But I want to know how this is going to affect things for like pitching rotations, suspensions, stuff like that. Does this still go on? Like the All-Star break, those days don't count. But it messes with your pitching rotation. You're adding 2-3 more days off. You're going in November already at the World Series. So if you're going to do that season, every 4 years there's an Olympics, that's great. But schedule some doubleheaders then.
Yeah,
I love the Olympics. I love baseball. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like every team's sending 3 guys.
Yeah, it's and it hasn't been determined
before and after the break.
They haven't determined the location for the 2028 All-Star game yet. That's what's pushing all this, right? Because
so they could do it because the Olympics will be in LA. So it's going to be right here in the States. We're not losing a lot of time with that for travel.
I see.
The thing is, okay, it'd be great this time, but say the next time it's in Japan, you had to add a couple more days for travel. Again, I got no problem with it. But, okay, I'll just take the Twins or the Mets, for example. Mets will probably have a few guys go because of the Dominican Republic players and stuff like that. But schedule doubleheaders during the season then to make up for it. Just so we're not going too late in. Don't shorten the season, but schedule some more doubleheaders in there. And just it is what it is,
Now, what's your thoughts, Andy, in which, and I don't think I've ever made this known, but my feelings and thoughts are still that the Olympics should be an amateur sport only.
Yes. I agree.
If you're getting paid for doing something for a real-time job, you shouldn't even be eligible for the Olympics. This should be for 15 to 18-year-old kids,
But, and here's where the classification or qualifications come in. I agree, yes. If they want to shut the minors down and send the players, great, sir. But is our minor league players professionals?
Yes, they're getting paid, so they're still pros. So you send the youth.
So you send the college all-stars, basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
But with that being said, though, okay, pro beach volleyball has a tour all year long, and those guys play in the Olympics. They're pros. This is just another stop for them. Golf, the Olympics, or tennis, it's just another stop on their tour. So that's where you're kind of like, some sports, that is their pros because they don't have an amateur. So it's kind of yes, I think it should be just amateurs playing, but if we've opened the floodgates, let's just do it.
Yeah, it's a tough cat.
Good go local here. Congrats to Bryce Burkhart or Brickett, Watertown Mayor kid, wrestling. Broke Coach Reinhardt's school record for his 195th win.
Congrats. Bryce, that is a tough thing to do, and 195 wins is no slouch at all.
It's kind of neat when you break your coach's record.
Yes.
Speaking with the Watertown Mayor Royals, congrats to Coach Hangartner and the entire Watertown Mayor Gymnastics program. WCC champs for the 9th straight year, 119th straight dual victories, 100th conference title in school history. Like we say with the girls gymnastics tournament, it is the Watertown Mayor Invitational. So congrats.
Those are some unreal stats right there.
Yeah. I don't care what sport it is. 9 straight championships in your conference, 109 straight dual victories, or 119, I'm sorry, 100th conference title in school history. Okay, that's 100th title in school history. Let's just stop right there. You have won 9 in a row, 100th overall. That means, okay, the sport's been around at least 100 years, if not more, because they'd say 100 straight then. So it's not just something in the water the last few years there at Watertown Mayor for gymnastics. It's
Now that's a dynasty right there.
Don't give me your Patriots with 6 Super Bowls in 18 years. That's cute. 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. That's cute.
Watertown Mayor Dance says,
9 straight.
Hold my beer.
Yeah. They said, hold my Gatorade.
Hold my Gatorade. Look at what we've done.
Yeah. 3 out of 5. That's cute. But congratulations, girls, and to the coaching staff there.
Gymnastics. Boy, that's 119 straight dual victories.
Right. Can you imagine if a wrestling team could say that in high school?
And there have been some that have been good, but not that many. I can't.
Right. I mean, how many wrestling schools, let's say they had 9 straight dual victories, let alone 119?
Yeah.
Get back to the Hawkeyes the other day against Penn State. 657,000 viewers on the Big Ten Network. That's on the Big Ten Network. Watch the women's basketball game. So, if it was on Fox or NBC or CBS, what do you got for viewership? Probably 700,000. There's my boy Jesse Orozco on this date, 1979. Now, this was 5 days ago when I got this off the internets.
Okay.
So on that date, 1979, the Twins sent minor leaguer Jesse Orozco to the Mets as a player to be named later to complete the earlier trade for West Central Minnesota native Jerry Koosman. Koos, of course, was a postseason hero for the Miracle Mets in 69, and Orozco would become a postseason legend with the Mets in 86. The 36-year-old Koosman won 20 games for the Twins in 79 and received some Cy Young votes. Orozco eventually pitched for the Twins in 2003, 25 years after they originally traded him. His 1,252 pitching appearances is the most in Major League history. Believe it or not, his final career pitch resulted in a walk-off strikeout.
Yeah, not enough gets said about Mr. Orozco.
What a way to end your career, though. Striked out the last guy, end the game. I'm done.
A very good pitcher, yes.
Kentucky men's basketball team has lost 3 straight at Rupp Arena for the first time ever.
Yeah, they don't lose at home too often.
Especially 3 in a row at home. Coach Calipari might be looking for a job. Don't know.
Yeah, and this is not, we're not talking non-conference early season.
Yeah, we're in mid-conference.
We're in the thick of things here, and 3 straight at home in conference play.
Yeah.
That's shocking news right there.
Got a couple baseball notes here for you. Twins, as I got this from multiple sources, Twins are keeping tabs on Noah Syndergaard and Michael Lorenz. Thor could be a twin.
Thor.
Dan. Look at both those guys with flow. We'd have some flow here.
Serious salad.
But don't say cool yet, Dan. I'm getting to that later.
Okay.
Back on the first, the Mets did invite non-roster shortstop Jet Williams to spring training. I'm trying not to be the old man in the trailer park, but that is a picture of Jet Williams. That's not what I picked Jet Williams to look like. 5'6", 175 pounds. I pictured some kid like 6'6", 6'7", 175 pounds.
Jet Williams, yes.
Not 5'6". But here's what's better. Here's his numbers. Last year, 2003, 3 different stages of the minor leagues. Say what you will, minor leagues or not, I don't care. 121 games. He had 108 hits, 118 strikeouts, but walked 104 times.
Okay.
Hits and 104 walks. Just let that sink in for a minute there.
It's just unreal. And I think that's why the Twins at second base like this, what's his name at second? The new guy.
Yep.
Julian. Eduardo Julian. Great eye at the plate, leadoff hitter, walks a ton of times, does not hardly strike out, and then gets on base besides. And those are great stats to look at.
I mean, yeah, he had 118 Ks, but he had 104 walks and 108 hits, 45 steals, caught 7 times, batted .263. So with all those walks, his on base was 4 1/4. So Look, I said, look for Jet. He's a shortstop. But you got Francisco Lindor. Well, Jet's 20. We're having issues at third. Do you move Jet to second? Do you throw him in the outfield? If your name's Jet, you can play the outfield. Do you in the third and try to trade your two guys at third base? What do you do? Who knows? There is some numbers right there. I thought that was impressive. But there you go, Dan. That's the sound I was talking about right there.
Whoa, dude.
Random college athletes Twitter.
Random. That's the Twitter feed called Random College.
Check out the stash.
The stash.
Check out the hair.
Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. Now, that would be, so he's Northland College. Is that here?
I don't know. I just saw the stat and I thought
the MEAC or the
I just saw that picture and fell in love.
That could be North Central. That's a Division III school here in the Upper Midwest. I think that's a great. Check the schedule. We'll try to get to a game.
He's got the Mr. T starter set going there with the jewelry.
Yes, starter set.
Yep. He's got the flow.
Big flow.
The Rolling
what does
Fingers
it look
mustache.
Like? Is it business up top? We can't see with the cap. We obviously know it's party in the back.
I'm going to go with it because you look at the sides there, unless he's got it pulled up pretty tight. Those sides are pulled back pretty good. I'm going to think he's got the flat top going up top.
It's nice and tight. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's make a note and follow Mr.
This is our new favorite player.
What's his name?
Kendallson Mount, Northland College. That was name. That's his first name. School name.
Okay.
So he's a pitcher and an infielder. I'm going to guess first base, maybe third.
Wow. Yeah, so we got to follow the Jacks, see how they do this year. They've probably already got games under the belt.
You need to tag Town Ball Tuesday on this one on the Twitter machine. He needs to see this young man.
He does. Yeah,
the bar has been set.
Well, he's going to make most of any kind of top 10 flow that I can think of.
He's got an NIL deal, I bet, for that mustache cream company too.
That's some talent there.
And them teeth look in good shape too. So Colgate action.
I like to see the before and after picture like that Bison lineman.
Yes, when he went his freshman year through college. Yes,
this will be good. Okay, I'll certainly follow this cat.
That's what I got, man. That's what I got.
So we'll follow him. Now we've got a little trivia answer. And we got some other things. Now,
I got one thing about the game last night.
Yeah.
I did not watch it. I'm going off what I read. So correct me if I'm wrong. Which I admitted my mistake a couple weeks ago on the one.
Very rare.
Transit,
Are you wrong, Andy?
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be wrong 2 episodes in a row here. The game went overtime last night, correct?
Yes.
And each team had a possession because each team scored, correct?
Yes.
Do you know why each team gets the possession now? Because of the Vikings-Falcons playoff game.
Is that what it was? So they went down and
the Falcons got down at the field. Vikings never got the ball. Vikings had that great record, and everybody said, that can't happen. So because of the Vikings, they changed the rules, and they still can't make the Super Bowl. But, yes.
Well, now, I was looking, this is 56 Super Bowls or something like that, and there's never been an overtime game until a few years ago, and now we had one again. So, Andy, in both of our lifetimes, we've been able to see, if you watched the game, you did not, but to see both overtime games in Super Bowl history.
Well, one guy CBS was saying was double overtime is what they referred to it as. Thought it might be double overtime.
Yeah, and I don't know how to refer that. They did talk about that, and I didn't know that rule myself, but they were not worrying about the clock running out because I thought the game ended after that first period. Unless it's tied, you go to double overtime. They said, no, it's a whole new game that starts. You're just in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You can let the time run off and just switch sides and score in the second quarter.
See, I've
never heard of that before. But
XFL or college or whatever, where they do it where you just get the ball at the 25-yard line first and 10. That's what it should be.
That's USFL, XFL, or the new UFL. They get rid of the kicking game altogether in the overtime. You get 4 downs to score from various points, yards on the field, and you can do whatever you want to do there. There's no kicking.
If you want to go for a field goal and hope your defense holds them, go for it. But
yeah, there's just no punting and there's no kickoffs. You just get the ball and they just do that. So that's pretty cool. So this one's different because I've seen some notes on actual players on the team, Andy, actual players on the roster that says, so if they went down there and scored a field goal, the game's not over. We still get a chance to get the ball. I didn't know the rules.
Yeah, players don't even know the rules in their own game.
How would they not know the rules?
Well,
you may not.
Have you seen most of the NFL players?
Now, I can agree you may not know the intricacies of some of the strange rules or the not ones that are not very common, but the overtime, if you go down and kick a field goal, of course, the other team gets the ball back. And there sounds like there's some people that didn't know that or know what the rules were. And that I think is alarming, but not surprising, maybe.
Yeah. So
anyway, that's Chiefs win the game. 49ers lose. Good game altogether, but Mahomes 3-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP. It's going to be interesting. I thought Brock Purdy played a good game. Christian McCaffrey had 80 yards on the ground and 80 yards through the air for a combined 160. And then Mr. Jennings for the 49ers had a touchdown reception and threw a touchdown on a trick play. A lateral back, tossed it in. First player ever, I think the record was, to throw a touchdown pass and receive one in the same game in the Super Bowl.
Well, I know Anton Randall L threw one for the Steelers in one game.
Yes.
That little midget Hines Ward. I don't know if he caught one in that game or not.
So he must not have, because this is the first time someone caught and passed. So
wait,
fun stuff.
Didn't Nick Foles do it when Philadelphia? Didn't he throw one? He caught one on the Philadelphia trick play.
Well, then
did he not throw one in that game? Was it all rushing touchdowns?
I don't know if that's the record. And maybe the record is for a non-quarterback.
Okay. Foles maybe did throw one in that game. I don't know. That's happened.
I'm assuming Foles would have thrown one at some point in the game. So maybe that's what the record is. The thing I was watching that I thought was cool, because there's so much focus on defense and so much focus on offense, that special teams came through with that rookie kicked the field goal in the first half, which was a Super Bowl record. And then the Chiefs, Tuckner comes in the second half and kicks one further to break that record.
Hold my beer.
Hold your beer. He's looking it up now, everybody.
And check out the Nick Foles record here. Yep.
We're looking up Nick Foles record because Jennings did have a good game. The nice thing I thought was that the top 2 tight ends in the game of football right now are in there. And the best tight end, the All-Pro, the NFL All-Pro, was George Kittle. And I think he had 1 catch for 4 yards or 2 catches for 4 yards or something. That was it. And Kelsey had 9 or 10 catches. He was more of a playmaker, but they didn't get him involved early on. But boy, the Kittle, to shut him down like that, top tight end, is interesting stuff. Now the trivia, I can go on with the trivia.
Yep, go ahead.
The trivia question for the listeners at the beginning, here's the trivia question, is they played, 56 Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls have been played indoors in a domed stadium indoors, but not on artificial turf, but rather on natural grass, real blades of grass? They played that at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. Real grass and in a domed stadium. The answer, Andy, what's your thoughts?
I know it's been in Arizona. I know they got the grass they roll in and out. So it's been 2 stadiums, but I don't know how many games have been in Arizona.
Arizona has hosted the Super Bowl already 3 times in Glendale. And so 1 time in the Vegas, 3 times, the grand total is 4. 4 times have Super Bowls been played indoors, but yet on natural grass. And like you said, Andy, Arizona and now Vegas as well, they bring the field out on a tray outside to grow the grass in the natural sunlight and water it. Game time, they bring it in. It takes about 65 minutes to bring it in, and they do it 48 hours in advance to then start painting the end zones, the markers, the various logos. They bring it in when they paint. And then when the field gets brought in there, they use that concrete flat surface for various tents and vendors and beer garden sales and inflatable tents and things like that for the kids. They're able to utilize that space, but they bring it in. Do you have an answer, Andy?
Nick Foles threw 3 in that game and caught 1.
Okay.
And I'm looking up Randall L's numbers right now.
Yeah, and so maybe Randall L didn't, because Jennings was either a record. Now, I don't think that he tied a record. It sounded to me like he broke the record, but keep looking. I'll tell the listeners more about this Vegas stadium.
No, it just says 5 catches for 72 yards in 2 games. Never says he had a touchdown.
Nice. So, Andy, check this out. Vegas, where the Raiders play, they only play 10 home games a year. They roll that turf out and roll it back in. That's the only time they bring it in is for the home games, 8 in the regular season, 2 in the preseason for the Raiders. UNLV plays their home games there, but they keep the field out and they lay down artificial turf when they play.
Oh, wow.
Our UNLV plays on an artificial turf right over the concrete on the floor there with their own painted logos and end zones and whatnot. They play on artificial turf. They don't even use the real grass, and I don't think the Raiders have the plan to allow them to use how expensive it is to raise the grass and grow it out there, I guess. They just keep it out, and they roll down and set in place artificial turf for UNLV football, which is also only 7 times a year is what I'm guessing, maybe.
Well, now for Arizona, because that stadium's on the college campus, that was a college, like, I don't want to say project, but idea to do that. So college and pro both do that for their games.
Yeah, and that would be there in Arizona. Now, the interesting thing is I was looking up prices for tours at Allegiant Stadium. An adult tour for one person is $69 just to get a tour of the facility.
Okay.
Most of them nowadays are $20, $30, $40, but $69 for one single tour for an adult. It's very spendy, but it's state-of-the-art stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Now, think of this. If you're getting a tour, you're looking down on the field when you're going through the suites and the concourse and the press box and whatnot. You have to be looking down on a football field that says Raiders in the end zone. Remember, the grass is outdoors. They made an artificial turf stadium for visual optics that they lay down for tours. So it says Raiders on both ends. It's painted with all the yard markers, artificial turf. There's never been a game played on that. It's just for visual optics. I was blown away by that.
Just for looks.
They said you can't have them looking down at concrete or, a basketball floor or hockey, whatever they use in there normally. It's just a concrete floor. So
for the Vegas drawings,
because it's Vegas, you gotta have the football field down. When the game time comes, they roll that up, put that in the storage, and bring in the real field. So we're trying to educate here, Andy.
I did not know that. Very
random stuff.
We got some.
But I do like the stadium. That's the newest one out there. US Bank, is great. Allegiant, SoFi, AT&T Bank Stadium. A lot of these new ones are unbelievable, but they're also over $1 billion. So,
former Viking head coach, now Dallas Cowboy defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer. So,
interesting.
Leslie Frazier, former Viking, is now going to get a head coach as a defensive gig again. So, names from the past.
And I think he'll be good at that. Head coach, it's just tough for people to pull that off.
And I got one other point just to think of here for you. NFL announced their Pro Bowl inductees for this next year. Devin Hester, I don't think he deserves to be in. A return guy who had really 2 good years. But Steve McMichael went in. He was part of the Bears' 85 championship team.
Yes.
Had that run with pro wrestling for a while. But Mongo is fighting Lou Gehrig's disease. He's not the big Mongo anymore. So when you show him, it's kind of sad. His wife was at the game last night when they showed all the people. I'm not saying Steve McMichael doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. It's just kind of weird. He goes in the year he's on his deathbed. I don't know if that's kind of a, and I don't know how to feel about it. It's like, if you're a fan of his or a family member, it's like, do you say about time? Do you think, well, it is about right? Or do you think we don't want your pity? I wouldn't know how the family would think on that, because he is a Hall of Fame player, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but you're right. Geez. The coincidence for just right now. And I think they do get together and say, look, this is a last shot for so-and-so.
Yeah.
How about we throw his name in the cap for family purposes? But
that's probably kind of eyeballing him anyway. Let's speed it up a little bit. His health is bad,
It's all in good faith. Now, Devin Hester had a couple good seasons, very good seasons.
Right.
But we have to get the definition of Hall of Fame instilled in people. You know, this is a top of the top of the top. Mauer, very good, probably Hall of Fame.
But I don't think it was first ballot.
But first ballot, I mean, there's so many people out there that are in there that I think eventually he could get in. But
what was the stat I saw on Mauer the other day? It was him and Buster Posey combined don't have as many innings under their belt as Yadi Molina does.
Yes, and Molina's not in it, but he's got double the amount of innings behind the plate in an actual MLB game.
Buster and Mauer combined don't have as much as him, and everybody keeps saying
Mauer combined.
Yeah.
Now Mauer switched to first base, but
still,
it goes to show the true Hall of Fame talent. It's so far out there that you have to be, first of all, on your team's Ring of Honor or MVP of your local team, and then get onto the next step. But McMichael, many years. Steve McMichael with some great teams.
Yeah, some great Bear
teams. You have a part 2 for trivia, Andy.
Yes, part 2, like I said earlier, was about the Vikings. The overtime game was
okay. So yes,
I think it was the Vikings that had that.
They've enacted the new rule, so each team gets a fair chance. If you're going
to get the Falcons game, yeah,
you're going to get a touchdown right away and win it, and that's it. Now, the over/under, I think, for last night's game was 46.5 points, and they ended at 47.
Funny, in Vegas, how's that work?
And it happens in Vegas. San Francisco was favored by, I think, 2.5 points. They lost by 3, but the over/under I thought was very interesting how that ended up there with the touchdown at the end. But
was that a shutout from Roxy I just heard?
No.
Oh.
No shout-outs for Roxy. Roxy does not speak. We don't hear her anymore, except when she's dreaming, but she's 16 and a half years old. We don't see much verbal action from her.
Shadow hits 20 this summer.
Wow.
Yes.
Well,
it'll be a big party. Yeah. He's an odd one with the hearing gone and the vision not far behind.
Makes it for very interesting. But anyway, this is really our last football story for the regular football season. We'll cover a little spring stuff. We'll cover some UFL, some arena football. But the regular football season, we're going to shift now to baseball full time. And also
you'll see a lot of UFL and arena on the social media pages. A lot of coverage there.
And we're going to switch to a lot of college basketball tournaments coming up. Hockey tournaments.
State tournaments aren't far behind now.
State, we're only a few weeks, 2-3 weeks away. And
Daytona 500 on Sunday. Baby.
March Madness.
Daytona on Sunday.
That'll be good. All right, everyone, have a good week.
See ya.
See ya.